Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox. That's Ben Olson. Together, we're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. I have an email here. The subject is what schools want you to think. I'll just read the email. It says, "Hi, please just call me B if this makes it to the show." Okay, B. I was incredibly turned off by this slide during a virtual open house for a popular LA law school, which, by the way, is Loyola Law School, because it's on the slide. I've attached the screenshot here. You can see that the dean is describing financing a legal education like scholarships are a myth and almost everyone takes out loans or even crowdsources their legal education. The 509 for this law school paints a very different image. Almost 70% of students receive some type of scholarship.
Jeez Louise. Wow.
It's almost as if the system is unrepairable/broken, and law schools insist on maintaining that paying $60,000 a year for tuition is a normal part of the initiatory phase of legal practice. I know we have to live in the world as it is, but seeing law school deans/admissions offices as gatekeepers to the legal profession who uphold predatory financial norms, with scare quotes around norms, is irritating. Maybe I've drank too much of the Thinking LSAT Kool-Aid, and that is from B. So what we see here, I'll try to describe it. We have a screenshot of the dean and then a slide. And
this is so
slide
childish.
Loyola Law School, Loyola Marymount University, which, by the way, has a beautiful campus out on the ocean near LAX. Loyola Law School itself is not at Loyola Marymount University. Loyola Law School is like downtown Los Angeles, which is not nearly as nice to look at. But anyway, the title is Financing Law School, Types of Funding. And it's got 1, 2, 3... different colors of fonts, plus bold, plus, I don't know, all kinds of weird stuff. It's
actually 4 colors. You got the gray in there too.
Oh, gray, in addition to black and green, and weirdly blue, which seems like that was probably an accident. So anyways, it's an ugly slide that says types of funding. And on the left, it says the dream. And it's got a picture of a muscle-bound dude for some reason, like a
Who
super
is that
muscle
guy?
He's like a comic book character of some sort.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got a 24-pack of abs, and he's a gigantic dude. And it says the dream is that guy, and then it says scholarships, scholarships, scholarships with exclamation points. By the way, as B pointed out, this school does give scholarships to 70% of their applicants, of their admitted.
So is that the dream or the norm?
It's the reality. It's the fact that this school gives scholarships to 70% of the people who go to the school.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the dream. Scholarships, scholarships, scholarships. Then, in real life, and it's got a picture of
Oh my gosh.
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, who is skinny and schlubby.
Yeah.
And he's wearing clothes that are 4 sizes too big for him. In real life, it says, we've got loans. Federal, unsubsidized direct Stafford loans, graduate plus loans, and private loans. We've got scholarships. We've got it lists scholarships super small, no exclamation point. It's like, oh yeah, that is one of the ways. But let's get to the other more important ways, which involve you paying us money. Okay, so then we have under other, we have you might pay for your law school education via private savings.
Oh, yeah.
You might pay for your law school education via employer tuition funding. Or how about federal work study, which is just fucking bogus. Like, federal work study is what's that going to be? $3,000 a semester? Or you might pay for your education via gifts from family and friends. And then it actually fucking says, in parentheses,
Yep.
GoFundMe, anyone?
Question mark. Wow.
Which is just, I mean, come on. That's just fucking.
You're gonna GoFundMe your legal education?
That is shameless. That is just scandalous that they would even say those words. Really? They're out there trying to get you to beg your family and friends to pay for your luxury of a law school education, which, by the way,
$60,000.
yeah, which, by the way, if you worked harder at the LSAT, you would not need to pay for at all. I mean, I'm going to look up a...
There's a
I'm gonna-
GoFundMe idea. Get your friends and family to fund your LSAT education
That's
for
well,
way less money, and then turn around and turn that into thousands of dollars of scholarship.
yeah. It's a clear example, okay? Clear example of how law schools give bad law school admissions advice. This dean, her job is to get you to pay for law school. You're already sitting there at a Loyola Law School information session. Her fantasy is for you to apply to her school only. That's what she wants.
Yep.
She doesn't want to give you one of those scholarships. She wants you to pay full price. But the fucking fact, and this is from the 2020 ABA Standard 509 Information Report, that every American Bar Association accredited school is required to publish every year. Notice that this was not her slide.
Yeah.
But if we were making the presentation, this would be the slide. We would show you from the bottom of the second page of this report, we would show you the grants and scholarships that were awarded last year. And somehow B said 70% of people at Loyola are receiving scholarships. That is incorrect.
Okay.
It's actually 92% of the total of
dear
700.
God.
Ben, there are 787 people at this school. 725 of them are receiving some sort of a grant. That's 92% of the class. Now, 36% of the class are getting something less than half tuition. Tuition, by the way, is $50,000 a year. So, you're paying
A year? Yeah.
You're
Or a
paying at
semester.
least it's $25,000 a semester. So you're paying at least $25,000 a year, which is still way, way, way too much.
Yep.
If you're there on one of their cheesy less than half tuition scholarships.
Yeah.
There's only 8% of the class that's paying more than that, though. Like 8% of the class is actually paying full freight. Those are the suckers of the suckers. I mean, those are the dumbest. Like sorry, I shouldn't call you dumb, but you definitely made a bad decision. Like you're naive. You don't understand how this process works. If you're paying full freight at Loyola, you made a bad decision.
Yeah. Well, you saw
92
this slide and you thought that
Yeah.
in real life, you thought the vast majority of people get loans.
Nah, there's all these different kinds of loans, and plus GoFundMe. I just will I'll annoyingly beg everybody I know to chip in on my tuition that I didn't have to pay, because 92% of the class gets some sort of a scholarship. I mean, Ben, 54% of the class gets somewhere between
54,
half and
yep.
full tuition.
Yep.
And then it's got 1% of the class getting full tuition and another 1% getting more than full tuition. I wonder how many of the half to full tuition scholarships are damn near full tuition scholarships, because this is the type of school that like you shouldn't go to this school unless you're going for free.
Yeah.
It's just not that good of a school. Their 75th percentile LSAT is 160. This is not it's not a prestigious school. This is not the type of school where, they're just like stamping out Master of the Universe after Master of the Universe. This isn't the type of place where you go and you immediately write your ticket. Now, you can go to this school and become a practicing lawyer in the state of California.
Yeah.
They have a strong alumni network, especially in Los Angeles, which is a goddamn huge place with a big legal market.
Yeah.
You can go to this school and become a successful lawyer and get a job, but you don't want to saddle yourself with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt for a regional law school like this.
Yeah.
Like if you have to pay for this school, then don't go to law school. If you can get a scholarship to this law school, great, because they give them out very generously. Despite what the dean of the schools, this is a dean in the admissions department. I don't have a name or anything, but this is a dean in the admissions department just putting out this.
Wow.
Is that a lie? Would you say that's a lie?
I would
She
say
did
it's
put scholarships in
misleading.
there. Yeah.
It's misleading at the very least, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to walk away from this. You're like, oh yeah, the dream. The dream, when someone says the dream, I think you think, well, in America, a lot of times we talk about the top 1%, but maybe the top 10%, right? That's a dream, 5%, something like that. It's hard to get, but no, it's not hard to get.
No, she's comparing the dream to in real life, as if real life does not include scholarships. But
I mean, it does include this small font scholarship. So she's conceding. She has to concede that in real life, some people get scholarships.
but it's a fucking fact that 56% of the people at her school, I mean, this is not some other school, this is her school.
Yeah.
56% of your
Are getting
school
more than half.
gets more than half scholarships.
So that's, I would say if you're the majority of something is happening, then that falls outside of the dream.
What does most mean? Most means more than half.
Normal.
Means most of the time. And it is a fact that most of the time, people who go to your law school pay less than half of the nominal tuition. More than half of the people at your school get more than half of it paid for by scholarships.
So that's the real life.
That's real life.
Yep.
Most people at your school get most of their tuition paid for by scholarships. That is a fact. It's just, I don't know, man. Is it possible that she doesn't know that fact about her own law school? It's possible.
No way. There's got to be, I mean, it's possible, but look, these people are making these decisions of how much money to give people based on how much is left. They know what's in the coffers. You can't over offer.
But why don't you just go get, maybe you could get gifts from your family and friends.
Amazon gift cards. Where's that? Where's that suggestion?
Brutal. Thank you, B, so much for sending this in. I'm going to double down. I'm going to triple down on my advice. Do not get law school admissions advice from law schools. It's like getting car buying advice from car dealers.
So do you think this is a good deal? You think I should get this car? I mean, do you think it runs well?
I just saw you sitting in it, Ben, and you look great in this car.
This is awesome, man.
I think this car might have been, by the way, this is it's the last one.
Another guy was in here this morning.
I'm not sure it's still available.
It's kind of the dream. I mean, really, in real life, I don't have this car.
Oh boy. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with this law school. It's a perfectly adequate regional law school. But the fact of the game, and we didn't make this system. I don't like this system. I wish that we didn't do this. But it is a fact that a school like Loyola has a tuition that is nominally twice or more.
Yeah.
Twice what they actually charge people.
Yes.
It's just a fact. It's on the 509 report. Those numbers aren't lying. They give more than half of their class more than 50% scholarship, which means that getting a scholarship is essential if you're going to go to this school. Boy, if you go there and they don't give you any help at all, you're in the 8% of people who are actually paying full tuition at this school. And she would dearly love for you to be in that 8%.
This is just making me think about shopping. I don't usually go to the mall, but when I do, I feel like every store I go into, they're like, yeah, we have this 50% off sale that's
gross.
going, and it's like the sweatshirt is $123. You're like, why is a sweatshirt $120? Like, I don't understand.
No, because they're going to give you 50% off always, and it's $60, which is still overpriced, but
still overpriced. But now you feel
ridiculously. No, we're dumb. I mean, we're super, super dumb. And that's why this system exists the way it is. But it's predatory on people who are naive enough to think that that's what this school actually costs. It's just, that's not what the school costs.
Nope.
In fact, it does not cost that. Most people do not pay anything close to what they're charging those, 8%. And it's super unfortunate because the 8% does tend to be poorer, first generation, not white.
Yeah, do we have stats on that? I mean, I think you're right, but
They don't publish that shit.
That would
they
be
should publish
embarrassing.
that shit, but they don't.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thank you, B, for writing in. Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.